G'day Guardians, Roguey here. Over the last 2 weeks we've been taking a closer look at both the Titan and Hunter's Void 3.0 subclass, recommending a build for each that highlights some of the new tools both classes have at their disposal. And as I'm sure you figured out by now, today we'll be checking out our Warlock. But before we do, Matt and I are giving away 2 Follow the Light emblem codes thanks to the fine folk over at Destiny ANZ. To enter, just be subscribed to the channel and leave a comment on this video sharing what has been your favourite exotic to pair with Void 3.0. We'll be announcing the winners in a week's time. Warlocks were gifted with 2 new tools of destruction in their Void package: Pocket Singularity, their new melee ability that sends out a ball of Void energy exploding and knocking back targets, while also making them volatile. The other is a new aspect called Child of the Old Gods, that upon activating our rift, summons a Void Buddy who will seek out our foes that we fire upon. Once reaching its target, the Void Buddy begins to sap nearby enemies, dealing continuous damage and weakening them. It also returns to us melee and grenade energy if running Healing Rift, or health if running Empowering Rift. Now this may sound like the intro to a Child of the Old God focus build, but alas, that is coming in a future video. No, my friends, today we're going all in on Chaos Accelerant and Feed the Void. This is for a number of different reasons, the main being that while Child of the Old Gods is a flashy and thematically cool aspect, I believe this combination is pound for pound better for activities across all difficulty levels. Now, back in Void 2.0, Top Tree was my favourite tree to play for Void Warlock, and the main reason was Chaos Accelerant. So, while I am excited to spend more time with all the new aspects and exotics, I really wanted to see a tried and tested build reaching new heights. The focus of this build is simple: using our grenade as much as humanly possible while keeping our Devourer buff active at all times. While Chaos Accelerant does work across 4 of our 7 Void grenades, we'll only be focusing on the Axiom Bolt and Vortex grenade. I'm sure Magnetic and Scatter have their place, but I didn't find them as effective or as fun. Chaos Accelerant hasn't really changed much under the update of Void 3.0. It allows us to overcharge our grenades, increasing their effectiveness. For a Vortex grenade, its size and duration are increased, while the Axiom Bolt fires an additional Seeker. Both come in handy depending on the type of enemies you're facing within each encounter. Vortex grenades, with their new Gravity Well effect, pulling in nearby enemies, allows it to easily wipe out a cluster of enemies, no matter the ad density. Vortex is also incredible for taking down larger targets, as the continuous tick damage combined with the extra duration from the overcharged effect really adds up. I've been finding the Axiom Dart particularly useful in the Vow the Disciple raid, where the main enemies are taken, who are well known for darting around the battlefield, but as the thumbnail suggests, they can run, but they cannot hide. Our other aspect, Feed the Void, allows us to make use of the incredibly powerful Devour buff, activated by a Void ability Final Blow. Once active, Final Blows from either weapons or abilities restore you to full health, generate grenade energy, and reset the duration on your buff. I always knew that Devour was an incredible buff, even back in Void 2.0, but would find myself rarely using Bottom Tree, as I couldn't bear to part myself away from Chaos Accelerant. Since this build is focused around grenade spam, getting ourselves buffed with Devour is easy. Simply start encounter by tossing an empowered grenade at the first group of enemies you can find. Paired with an Adrenaline Junkie weapon, bonus points if it's Void, and you've got yourself a never-ending source of health. It honestly makes running recovery absolutely pointless, and if that stat wasn't tied to our Rift's cooldown, I would spend my other stats elsewhere. With all this focus on grenade, it just makes so much sense that we are running Echo of Undermining as our first fragment. While we are taking a massive hit to our discipline stat, the payoff is well worth the cost. This fragment allows our grenades to apply the Weaken debuff, increasing damage affected targets take by 15%. Now, I'll only use this fragment when running Vortex Grenade to get that maximum value. When running Axiom Bolt, I prefer to use Echo of Expulsion to give me a little bit of extra reach. Since our Vortex Grenade is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, having it last for as long as possible is key. we can increase its overall duration even further with the addition of Echo of Remnants. While Vortex Grenade's damage is nothing to sniff at, it's not particularly high, so the longer we can have that tick damage last for, the better. And of course, it's not just the Vortex Grenade that this fragment buffs, it also buffs the duration that our Axiom Dart can track down its targets, which always makes for a hilarious sight. Our final fragment, Echo of Instability, depends on if we are running a Void weapon or not. Pairing this with an Adrenaline Junkie or Golden Tricorn Void weapon such as Shayura's Wrath makes you borderline unstoppable. If volatile rounds aren't your style, Echo of Persistence is a nice way to ensure that Devour is always active. With so much of this build revolving around grenades, there's only one exotic that comes to mind. Controverse Holds somehow still does not have an ornament. With Controverse Holds, waiting for our grenades to regen becomes a thing of the past. When our grenade hits its targets, we are refunded a massive portion of our grenade energy. Usually we get about 60 to 70% of our energy back after the initial damage. But thanks to Chaos Accelerant and Echo of Remnants, we can sometimes get Controverse to proc twice off the same grenade. If there's anything left standing, that is. Now let's talk mods. We'll be using a couple of different Elemental Well mods to help us top off our grenade energy, should we ever find ourselves needing that extra little bit. But it's more so for our teammates. In the past, the worst thing imaginable was having a blueberry shoot out your Warmind cell, preventing you from reaping its benefits. But since Elemental Wells spawn for each player, sharing is caring. And with these mods, you'll be able to fill a whole raid team Void and Solar Wells for weeks. Up top, in our helmet, we've got double Ashes to Assets. It's a grenade build. Of course we're running two of these. In our combat style slot, we have Well of Ordnance, which gives us grenade energy when picking up a solar well. A nice and easy way to top off our grenade. In arms, we're running a single copy of Bolstering Detonation, giving us Rift energy each time we deal grenade damage. One slot free for our champion mod, and the best well generation mod in the game, Elemental Ordnance, spawning us a Void Well for the first enemy we kill with our grenade. For our chest piece, I like to use Explosive Well Maker, spawning us an additional solar well off our grenade kills. This provides us the solar wells needed to take advantage of Well of Ordnance. Down on our legs, we are running Seeking Wells. This is more of a quality of life mod and isn't really that essential and can be swapped out for a Well of Tenacity if you want that extra survivability. And finally, our Bond. A classic double bombers should we find ourselves needing an extra bit of void energy with no ways to generate it, and of course bountiful wells, making all of our grenade kills spawn 2 void wells and 2 solar wells. Now, I'm sure you're thinking this seems like overkill to be creating so many elemental wells when we have so many paths for regenerating our grenade energy. But I want to stress just one more time how valuable it is for a fire team to have just a few members running well mods, especially with how powerful Volatile Flow is in the current sandbox. I would recommend this build for any level of content you are looking to tackle. Vortex Grenade combined with Echo of Undermining makes tanky yellow bar enemies look like a joke. Axiom Bolt with Echo of Expulsion can clear out an entire room no matter how far spread the enemies are. Solo content becomes a breeze thanks to the seemingly never-ending Devour buff, constantly topping you back up to full HP. You could run this in any Grandmaster level content featuring overloads, equipped overload grenades, and that pesky captain is done for. I can honestly not think of a single instance where this setup would not be a boon to your fire team. Pairing this build with an Adrenaline Junkie weapon guarantees that you'll have that 33% damage buff on at all time. Now, for Void weapons, to make use of volatile rounds, I'd recommend Funnel Web or Grid Skipper. Now, there's only 3 Void weapons in the game right now that can roll Golden Tricorn. The Trials SMG Shayura's Wrath, Grasps of Avarice Sniper, 1000 yard stare, and the craftable fusion rifle, likely suspect. Getting a weapon kill followed by an ability kill will grant you a massive 50% damage buff to your weapons, refreshed off each further ability kill. While Void 3.0 has brought with it some cool new tricks for each of our classes, you cannot top the classics. And for me, nothing is more classic to a Warlock than Controverse Holds and Chaos Accelerant. I'll see you in the next one, Guardians.